What is up, guys? Welcome to At Home Fitness with Coach A. This is the YouTube channel where I, Coach A, aim to give you guys in-gym quality coaching and workouts for your at-home and garage gym needs. We started during COVID, and we're on day number 171. It is Wednesday, September 2nd here in Cleveland, Ohio. And today, we're going to get into what is going to be our most recent kind of little strength cycle here. So there's 2 days, 2 strength, 2 skill, whatever you want to call them, days from last week that we're going to repeat this week and then continue to repeat going forward with an attempt to improve on those scores or improve on the quality of movement to kind of give ourselves a little cycle for improvement here. The first one is going to be what we're going to do today, and it is something we did last week. 3 to 5 rounds of 3 to 5 eccentric pull-ups, strict pull-ups. And then you're also going to put a 20 rep banded face pull in there as well. The 3 to 5 rounds is going to come out to however many you continue to perform with quality and improvement. The rep scheme, 3 to 5 eccentric strict pull-ups. The eccentric part of this is going to be a slow controlled movement down. So you guys are going to pull up in a normal position or manner, strict pull-up. You're going to get to the top. You're going to hold the tension in the lats, backside of the shoulders, and then you're going to slowly extend all the way down. Slowly all the way, not just slow for the first half and drop for the second. Slow all the way down. I want you to try to hold about 4-second descent on those. All right. Now, if we're staying on the bar for 5, awesome. We got our 5. If we're only able to stay on the bar for 3, and we're getting to the point where we're burning out and controlling that tempo, then obviously you guys are doing sets of 3. Now, nothing here says that you can't do, 3 rounds, 5, 4, 3 kind of a thing, if that's what you think you need to do, if you think you're going to be receiving diminishing returns by getting those extra reps. I don't care if you guys jump back up during those rounds, so like going from 3 in a row to doing 5 total reps, but we shouldn't really be taking a long rest, all right? And then that kind of turns into a whole different kind of theme here. So 3 to 5 rounds, 3 to 5 eccentric 4-second down pull-ups of the strict variety, and then our 20 banded face pulls. If you don't know those are, I'll demonstrate them in a second. After each set, remember, I want you to do those right after your set of strict eccentric pull-ups. Now, the workout today is going to be a little bit of variety, something uncomfortable, something high skill, and something enjoyable. You guys are going to do 5 rounds. 10 handstand push-ups. That's the challenging one. The second thing is going to be a 100-foot weighted carry. You'll notice it says at your chest. That means front rack. That means hug. That means goblet. That means if you have a barbell front rack like this, however you want to look at that. So it is going to be a anterior, a front side, a frontal plane walking carry. Weight. Let's make that as heavy as we can, basically, and still not really change what's going on here, meaning even if you can walk with 225 pounds in a front rack position, that's a really heavy clean to get into that, in which case it kind of changes the context of the workout. I'd rather see you guys go a little bit lighter and take your time walking. Third movement is going to be 10 box jumps. Regular height, I want you to slow the tempo down. If you can bound those, don't today. Step down, take a breath, set, and jump again. We got handstand push-ups coming after those, and I'd rather see quality handstand push-ups with a tempoed box jump than crap handstand push-ups with an incredibly fast-paced bounding box jump kind of thing. So again, 5 rounds, 10 handstand push-ups, a 100-foot front rack-ish carry, and 10 box jumps. Stick around if you guys want to see the demonstrations and modifications. Alright guys, let's talk demonstrations. So, as we said, it's pretty much going to be the same thing as last week with intent and a little bit of improvement here, so that I can either be qualitative in terms of doing the movement better, maybe controlling it more, maybe making it smoother, feeling more engagement in our muscles, specifically our lats, maybe keeping the shoulder blades down and back. Or it can be quantitative in that we're actually achieving more reps or more sets today. So, big thing with the pull-up. So remember, when we have an eccentric focus, we're still going up, doing the concentric piece the same. We're still repeating, coming right back down. So you can hold at the top. You don't have to hold. I'm not looking for a tempo there. But on the way back down, the big piece here is to work on 4 seconds and to work on 4 seconds smoothly as opposed to overly slow and then overly fast. All right, so I'm going to show you 2 reps. One is going to be correct. The other one is going to be what I tend to see is the most common error, whether we're doing it this way or in a modified horizontal or inverted row position, and that is we descend too slowly and then have to drop down the bottom. So a good rep will be 1 second up, maybe a second at the top, and then 4 seconds evenly and smoothly all the way down. That too slow and then rushed rep looks like this. Too slow, too slow, too slow. Oh crap, I'm at 4 seconds. I'm just gonna drop myself down. If you find yourself in that position of, I took too long, I'm running out of time here, then I'd rather you make it a 5 to 6 second eccentric in that moment and then try and correct it the next rep instead of dropping through the bottom range of motion. A lot of times that's the piece of the lat that people tend to miss, and that's the one that makes them weak on the pull-ups. Now, second piece. So we run 3 to 5 rounds, 3 to 5 reps of that. It's going to be each round followed immediately by a set of 20 band face pulls and then a rest before going back to that next round. On the band face pull, remember we're trying to set that band up somewhere between the chest and the ears, okay? It's not a perfect roll, we're not always going to be able to do that, so if we need to adjust a little bit, that's fine. On the pull, I let the shoulders sit forward, I pull the shoulder blades back, and then I pull back and try and create a horizontal path of tension. Theoretically, what's going to happen is those shoulder blades or the traps are going to flex back together. The elbows are going to be out, if not slightly above that flat shoulder line. Okay. The outcome of that is often that the wrists have to hinge a little bit, the hands cock into place, and if we're using a single band, it probably gets pulled apart a little bit. That's fine. Remember, we're trying to work the upper traps and create tension as they flex back and together. So, demonstration. Let the band pull me, set the shoulders, face pull. Let the band pull me, set the shoulders, face pull. If you don't feel a lot of tension on this when you're doing it, maybe put a 1 second pause or so in there on the back end of that so you can really start lighting that muscle up and getting it to feel. We'll talk about modifications in a second. First, we're going to go into the workout. All right, so the workout, we're looking at 5 rounds. We talked about 10 handstand push-ups, 100-foot carry, so 50 down, 50 back, however you want to run it, and then 10 box jumps. So pretty simple with the box jumps. We're looking at a normal height for us, something that we obviously have to work for, but not something that's going to be extra high or is low enough that we're going to be able to rush through these. I want there to be some tempo, so you're able to breathe a little bit and set yourself going back into the handstand push-ups. Handstand push-ups, strict. Today, strict handstand push-ups, don't care, we're not using the hips. It's supposed to be a focus on the shoulder. If you can think about it when you're doing it, maybe even put a slight tempo in there, similar to the strict pull-up you guys did. It doesn't have to be 4 seconds, but it is a slower motion down than it would be pushing back through. Now, the big thing I want to talk about here is the carry. Talk about how I want it to be in the front rack, frontal plane, something along those lines. If we have a ball or a sandbag, a weight vest, a book bag that's weighted, anything along those lines, this is how I'd like you to hold it. If you're looking at a barbell, it can be held in a searcher squat. It can be held in a front rack. It can be held in a front rack physically by your hands. If we're looking at a kettlebell, you'll walk with it in a goblet position. 2 dumbbells can be stacked in a front rack. They can be held in like the base of an Arnold press type position. The only thing I don't want you guys to do if you only have one thing, so kettlebell, ball, 1 dumbbell, is I don't want you to unilateral side it, okay? So I don't want you to go right arm down, left arm back, 50 feet each. Let's hold it in front, hold it in the middle for all 100 feet and work from there, okay? So there's not gonna be many modifications. I'm gonna go over them real quick for this. Handstand push-ups is ideally gonna be a Z press with the butt on the ground, legs open to the side, doing that single arm theoretically, or both arms together, press going overhead. And then box jumps, let's convert those to a higher step up and go 5 each side equaling 10.
And then ideally, if we can get a weight for the Z press, same thing as 10 reps for the 10 handstand push-ups. But obviously, if we have to mix that up, you guys only have one weight or two, that's fine. Okay. Stick around, I'll go over modifications for the strength piece.
Stay tuned for movement modifications.
Alright, so we don't have a pull-up bar, or we're not able to do pull-ups. First of all, if you have a pull-up bar placed to do pull-ups, but you can't physically do strict pull-ups without assistance, using a band is okay on this if we're able to maintain the same kind of tempo. Also, something else you can do is just the eccentric part of the movement, meaning you can jump up or step yourself up to the top of that rep, and then do that same kind of slow lowering eccentric movement coming back down. It's going to give us a very similar effect. Obviously, we're not going to pull ourselves into position, so we might not get as quality of an engagement since we're not pulling up, but the idea is pretty much the same. Face pulls. If you guys have super light dumbbells, we can go into a hinge position and do that, okay? It's challenging because the higher we're pulling like that in the hinge, the further it's getting away from the hips that we're hinging with, and thus it possibly could create a lot more spinal movement and movement there. One of the other things you guys can do if you have other tools is an upright row. We're focusing on keeping the elbows high, specifically above the hands, and it's going to be a very similar position. Obviously, we're not pulling the traps back as much, they're more coming up, but it's still going to be some trap work. If we need to turn the vertical pull-up into an inverted or horizontal pull-up, that's fine. It's still a pull, it's still utilizing the lats predominantly, right? Have a set of rings up here I can do that with, have a TRX strap here, I can lay back and do that, right? The idea is the same. If the movement's pretty easy for you guys, meaning you could probably do the pull-up version, but you don't have the stuff, then just make that eccentric part of the movement slower, right? If you can work 8 seconds on the way down, then work 8 seconds on the way down. If that's what it takes to get the right kind of resistance, so to speak. Other ideas, if we don't have these kind of tools, I demonstrated way back in the day, laying underneath a dinner table, holding onto the top of it with my hands, and pulling my chest to the underside of that tabletop. That is actually a pretty good one. If the table's not going to be heavy enough, big enough, it's not going to move on you, especially for this, because it's not like you're going to be cranking yourself around to get those reps out. We're putting a lot of emphasis on control. Can we do this with weights? Yes, theoretically you can. If you're talking about a barbell, I'd rather see you guys try and put it on something like a rack, some boxes, and be the one under the bar, so you're moving your body weight, not the weight. But in the sense of it, yes, you can pull 1, 2, 3, 4 on the way down. Okay, maybe you need to change that tempo up a little bit. Maybe you need to make an adjustment. If you have any questions about that, let me know. But that is something that's doable. It is an option. I would also like to see you using both arms or trying to modify it to one of the bodyweight options before like a single dumbbell we're doing that eccentric with.